The local licensing authority meeting is called to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Berlin,
Present.
Brown,
Present.
Cohen, Mariska,
Present.
Marsh Holshin,
I'm here.
Maxey.
Present.
Thank you.
I'm present too. I didn't hear my name. Sorry.
And who is that?
Mazzacco 3B is what I says up here. Joe Mazzacco.
Okay. I think they got you there. Thanks.
Perfect.
We do have a quorum. Each member of the authority has a copy of the minutes of the May 4th, 2022 licensing authority meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? And if there are, if you would just speak up because I can't see anyone else's images. Hearing none and seeing none, the minutes of the meeting of the licensing authority of May 4th, 2022 stand approved as submitted by the Assistant City Clerk. We'll move to agenda item 3A, Pioneers Restaurant and DBA Atzira SSDN LLC doing business as a Fran, transfers ownership, hotel and restaurant license. Members of the authority have a copy of the application along with the agenda memorandum which sets forth the staff's review. Are representatives present? And if so, would you please state your name and your business address for the record?
I am present. Rishu Shabra, co-owner, partnered with Azafran.
And would you please spell your last name and provide us with your business address?
Last name is spelled CHHABRA. Business address 535 Zane Street, Suite C, Broomfield, Colorado, 80021.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Does the authority have any questions of the representatives?
Not at the moment. Sorry.
That's okay. Do any members of the licensing authority have any questions?
No.
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 I just have a quick one then. Would you please describe for us your experience with service of alcohol and sales of alcohol, please?
Of course. My past history has been associated with previously partnered with Azitra, which was located at the same address provided before in Broomfield. We have just rebranded. So I would say the last 8 to 10 years in selling alcohol and purchasing alcohol.
Thank you. And are you and the entire staff there tips trained?
We are.
Thank you. And have you had previous violations?
We had one violation under Azitra, which was, I believe, in late 2020. And it has been, we took forward and made it sure that everyone we are hiring from here on is tip certified.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Additional questions from any license authority member?
No.
Seeing and hearing none, what's the pleasure of the licensing authority? If someone would just speak up since I can't see pictures or hands.
Okay, I move that the licensing authority approve a transfer of ownership of the Pioneers Restaurant and DBA Azitra Restaurant and Hotel license to SSDN LLC doing business as Azafran.
Thank you. May I have a second, please?
Second. Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Seeing no further discussion, will the clerk please call the roll? And if those members would respond by aye or nay.
Berlin,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Cohen, Mariska,
Aye.
Marsh Holshin,
Aye.
Maxey,
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. Ms. Chabra, thank you for being here with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And I would ask a favor of the clerk and of Ms. Brown, the vice chair, that since I will not be back into the States for another week, any document that needs to be signed, if she would be so kind to sign on the LLA's behalf, I would appreciate it.
I will. Thank you.
I
Thank
will
you.
send them to her.
Thank you. We'll move to agenda item 3B, Masa Casina Mexican LLC and Masa Casina Mexicana, Mazalco Group LLC, doing business as Mama Lolita's, transfer of ownership, hotel and restaurant license. Members of the authority have a copy of the application along with the agenda memorandum, which sets forth the staff's review. Are representatives present? And if so, if you would please state your name and your business address for the record.
Yes, Joseph Mazzacco. Business address is 8181 Arista Place, Unit 150 in Broomfield, Colorado, 80021.
Thank you, Mr. Mazzacco, and welcome.
Thank you.
Does the authority have any questions of the representative? Hearing none, I'll ask the same question. Can you please briefly describe your experience with the service and sales of alcohol, please?
Absolutely. I myself have been executive chef for over 20 years and have been involved in all aspects of purchasing and training staff for the last 20 years. And this is my first ownership restaurant. And my front of the house manager is tip certified, and all of my front of the house staff is currently being trained for tip certification.
Thank you. And they will be trained and certified prior to the time of their start of work. Is that correct?
Correct. Everybody who is currently working for us in the front of the house is already tip certified.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Are there any additional questions? If not, what's the pleasure of the licensing authority? Ms. Brown?
I move that the licensing authority approve a transfer of ownership of the Masa Cocina Mexicana LLC and Masa Cocina Mexicana to Mazzacco Group LLC, doing business as Mama Lolita's.
Thank you. May I have a second, please?
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on those motions? Seeing and hearing no further discussion, will the clerk please call roll?
Brown,
Aye.
Cohen, Mariska,
Aye.
Marsh Holshin,
Aye.
Maxey,
Aye.
Berlin.
Aye. Thank you. That motion passes. Mr. Marisco, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. We'll move to agenda item 4, petitions and communications. There are no petitions or communications. Agenda item 5, police department report. There are no police department reports. City and county attorneys report.
Yes, and I'll keep this brief tonight, given the format of this meeting. I have completed an initial review of the procedures that the LLA is currently using and matched them up with the municipal code. I'm still working a little bit on matching them up with potential municipal code changes that would be presented to City Council at a study session next month with regard to marijuana. So once those are harmonized, then the next step is just a review among other attorneys who have appeared in my role, and then a discussion with the clerk's office just to make sure that everything is feasible. And then at that point, I will present them the potential procedures to the LLA, and then we can discuss further changes as the LLA wishes to see. For the board to consider, one of the bigger projects is going to be establishing a fine and penalty structure for marijuana, as City Council has tasked that to this board. I have taken at least an initial attempt to create a framework. However, it's going to be this board's ultimate call as to how that framework works. So as we get into more of a feasibility standpoint with the clerk and then start discussing with the board what the penalty structure and what the rest of the terms would look like, that might be one of our bigger projects. Hopefully we can present this to the board either for the July or the August meeting. Just as an update for you as to what the July meeting looks like, it's going to be just about as brief as this one. So depending on where COVID numbers are, that might be a virtual meeting anyway, and it may not make sense to do that for the July meeting.
Thank you. Are you able to use material from other cities?
I am. The challenge is that each city, their muni codes are so different that areas that I can take, I am, but each code prescribes exactly what the LLA can do.
Okay, thanks. Any questions for the city attorney?
No.
Hearing none, I do have a question. I saw in the newspaper, I don't know, 2 months ago or so, that some of the marijuana establishments, the growing facilities and the sales facilities offered behind the scenes tours. Would that be something that would be appropriate for this group to sign on to? And would the city endorse something like that?
That would be something to look into, potentially for a facility that doesn't touch Broomfield.
Agreed.
Yeah, let me look into that and see if there's something, say, in Denver, and talk to the clerk's office and see if that's something that we could facilitate.
If you want to wait a week, when I get home, I'll send a copy of the article to you so you know some of the references.
Okay, absolutely.
Thanks. Any additional questions? It's not a record-setting short meeting, but it's close to it. If there's no other business that needs to come before the authority, the meeting is now adjourned. Thanks, everyone, and I appreciate Ms. Brown taking care of the paperwork. Yes, sir.
Sorry, if we can jump back, I apologize. We do actually need to jump back to item 3B really quick. And it's all right that the attendee has already been excused.
Go ahead.
Mr. Berlin, if you want to delegate signing authority under 3B, you would need to delegate that as well.
Okay, individually. Because of my absence, won't be back into the States for another week. If the city clerk would please ask the vice chair, Ms. Brown, to sign any and all documents required on my behalf and the LA's behalf.
I will go ahead and forward those DocuSigns.
Thank you.
For her signature.
Thanks. With that then, anything else? Then we will adjourn. Have a good night, everyone.